Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For this video, I will be reviewing Clerks 3. It is a sequel that I've been waiting for a long time, literally since 2006, since Clerks 2 ended, because I absolutely loved that film. And, you know, I haven't done movie reviews for the channel in a while. And I figure what better movie to start doing them again than for an entry to a franchise that I freaking love. Kevin Smith, I freaking love his films. Clerks is one of my absolute favorites. Clerks 2, I'm probably in the minority where I think Clerks 2, for me personally, I enjoy it just a little more than the original, just because, obviously they had a bigger budget and whatnot, so you can get cool things like the musical numbers and stuff like that. This one, going in, I knew it was going to be more self-contained as far as like story, plot, characters, stuff like that, since they were on a lower budget for Clerks 3. So yeah, I'm gonna start the review for you guys, that you guys would, stuff I liked about it, stuff I didn't like. Yeah, so let's get to it. All right off the bat, expectations for this film going in. I'm just on level with you guys. I really did not know what to expect. Like, honestly, I didn't think this film was ever actually gonna happen. I thought it was just one of those, like, oh yeah, they're gonna make Clerks 3, and then you kept it was because that is exactly what happened. We kept hearing stuff, and it was gonna happen, it wasn't, and etc. And then finally, it was officially announced. I remember being ecstatic that day because I was like, crap, okay, it is gonna happen finally. We're getting a Clerks 3. And then when it did, they brought back everybody, and then they announced the whole cast. Like, I was excited when Rosario Dawson got officially announced to return, because I thought she was one of the best, the better. She was like one of the high points of Clerks 2 for me personally. I really did enjoy her character, her chemistry with Dante. So I'm glad they brought her back. And then as far as story, stuff started leaking out. Then the trailer got released. So basically, Randall Graves is Kevin Smith. He's basically taking Kevin Smith's role in real life with what happened with his heart attack and stuff like that. And then it makes Randall's character reflect on his life, and how, in his eyes, he's kind of like wasted his life. Him and Dante they've been in this convenience store for like a majority of their lives. And that's basically how, where we're at, where the story starts in this one. So yeah, those my expectations for it. I didn't know what to expect with the lower budget. I didn't Obviously it wasn't going to be on a grand scale, kind of like Clerks 2 was, because again, restrictions. That's what happens when you have a lower budget in films. You can't do fun stuff like big musical numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, now I will mention some stuff I did not like right off the bat. So let's get to that. All right, guys. So first negative, the number one thing I did not like. As soon as the film starts, we're introduced to the characters again, obviously, but you find out that Becky, played by Rosario Dawson, she's passed away. She died, like, literally in the timeline, because it takes place in real time. In the timeline, she dies basically right after the end of Clerks 2. She's in a heavy in a serious car crash, and so she passed away. She got hit by like a drunk driver, and not only does she pass away, but their daughter, who apparently they named Grace, which I thought that was a nice touch. That's Kevin Smith's mother's name in real life, so that was a cool little nod to that. But yeah, they both passed away in 2006. which I'll be honest, it kind of like took me out of the movie for a second. I was like, that was my exact reaction. I was like, seriously? Like, you're going to do that to me? Come on. Like, I wanted to see because in Clerks 2, the development of her character, of Rosario Dawson's character, I just loved her going from like, oh, I don't believe in romantic love, and even she's kind of doubting that within herself, because she does start getting feelings for Dante. And even then, she's still kind of like, no, I can't feel like that. Like that's not me. So I kind of wanted to see how would that character be, how would she feel this many years later? Like, I wanted to see that chemistry evolve, between her and Dante, where they're at in the relationship, how they're dealing with, having a child now. I thought that would have been an interesting avenue to explore, but yeah, so she gets killed off. She's already dead when the film starts, pretty much. So right off the bat, yeah, I hated that. But then later on, as I'm watching the movie, they do something that kind of like, okay, I could see why Kevin Smith wanted to do it this way. He wanted to tell this version of the story of these characters. And so you see Dante kind of having these visions of her, and she keeps telling him to, you need to move on. What happened with me was so many years ago, and you're just like, because in this film he's like a shell of his former self. He is just depressed all the time. I mean, who wouldn't be, given the circumstances? But yeah, basically he keeps having these cool like visions of her. He goes to visit her grave at the cemetery. She talks to him. She's telling him all these things. Their chemistry is still amazing, by the way, in this film. It was just as good as it was in Clerks 2. So yeah, right off the bat, that was probably the only negative I had about the movie, because I was so excited when Rosario Dawson got involved. And she jumped on board the project, but then for them to just kill her off like that, I was like, damn, well, that sucks. you know but yeah, that's pretty much the only negative. And yeah, I guess I'll just skip on over to the positives. Okay, my positives for Clerks 3. As I just mentioned, yes, in my opinion, killing off Becky was a negative. I wish they wouldn't have gone that route, but at the same time, you can look at it as a positive because it does help move the story forward. As far as Dante dealing with, that loss in his life, and how close he was to having his fairy tale ending that he always wanted since the original Clerks. And so it does help establish him a little bit more, help him develop a little bit more as a character, as far as who he is and his relationship, his friendship with Randall. And this one, it was a little more. I love that there was a little more emphasis on their friendship and the parallels that they go through. Like, Randall always thinks it's all about him. It's always me, me, me. And Dante, same thing. He's like, man, well, fuck you. What about me? Like, what about my issues? Well, what I'm dealing with, my loss. I lost, my fiance. I lost my son. His daughter. And it sucks in a way, but it's beautiful, because this one, I think out of all three Clerks movies, I feel like this one had the most heart. This one definitely, you look at these characters in this film and you see those young kids from 94's original Clerks. They just feel like those characters. And I love the way that the relationship, the whole dynamic between Dante and Randall, how it evolved from 94 to 2006 and Clerks 2, and now, skip forward to 2022, and here we are, Clerks 3. How will these characters be now? So I do love that fact. And obviously the story takes place, Randall has a huge heart attack right at the beginning of the film. They don't play around. As soon it gets going right away. That's one thing I also enjoyed. Also, they pretty much had to, because it's only an hour and a half. So the runtime, with that budget, you couldn't really do like 2 hours or anything like that. So they do get right to the point. And then so Randall has his heart attack. Then he starts kind of like what Kevin Smith went through in real life. He's like, man, crap, like, what am I done with my life? Stuff like that. So Randall pretty much is Kevin Smith. He wants to film his own, Clerks in this universe. So it's pretty funny. There was some cool callbacks and stuff like that to the original Clerks, because obviously that's what they're alluding to. That's what they're filming. So you see a bunch of the scenes in the original Clerks being recreated, like reshot for this one, and it's pretty funny. Like the the jokes, some of them land, some of them don't, and then they try improvising stuff like that, and then Jay. They do like a play on the character, how he's like, man, why do you got this character saying stupid shit? Like, who the fuck says snoochie boochie? Who talks like that, So they're kind of like, they make fun of themselves in this one, which I enjoyed. Everybody that I saw it in the theater with, they were freaking cracking up. So a lot of the jokes did land, but this one definitely had a more serious tone to it, given that Randall has like a heart attack and he's dealing with all that. And then Dante, he is reluctant to film the movie with him because he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to experience those experiences that they've experienced in Clerks 1 and 2. He didn't want to relive, meeting Becky and, growing with her and stuff like that. And then, having to deal with that loss. Like, he didn't want to see that on screen. And then Randall, doesn't really realize that. He only catches on until later in the film. He's like, oh shit, okay, like, like I kind of fucked up, So that I did enjoy. And then I mean, as far as the ending, I thought, and huge spoilers if you guys really don't want to know the endings. I mean, this whole review is spoiler, but yeah, so the ending, they have like this huge fight because, again, Randall thinks it's all about him all the time, and Dante just gets tired of his shit. He freaks out on him. They have a huge argument while they're filming, and then it just gets to be too much, and Dante ends up having a heart attack as well. He drops on the freaking floor. He's in the hospital, and then Randall decides to, let me do something real quick. He starts editing the film that, the Clerks film that he's doing in the universe, in the movie. And I thought it was super sweet, man. Like, he basically edits the film and makes Dante, originally he was going to be the main character because, it's his movie, it's his life and stuff like that. And he re-edits it to make it about Dante. So he makes Dante the main character. And as Dante's laying, like, in the hospital, because he just had this huge, serious heart attack, he brings his laptop to the hospital. He shows Dante the film that they shot together. He tells him, you know what, none of this would be possible without you. You've always been there for me. You're my best friend. Like, he tells him he's the Luke Skywalker in his story, which I thought was like cool because, them being Star Wars nerds, of course, could appreciate that reference. But yeah, so it's super sweet, man. It's fucking sad. Like, I laughed. I freaking shed a tear for that scene because I love these characters. I don't even care. I'll just be honest about it. Yeah, so he shows him that. He tells him he's the Luke in his story. And then Dante, it kind of cuts to him watching it on the laptop. And then it does this cool thing where Dante is watching the film in this huge abandoned theater with Becky, with Rosario Dawson. So they're both sitting down in the theater watching it. They're both enjoying the film. And then it's basically a metaphor. They're in the afterlife. So you automatically, watching it, I was like, fuck, man. I was like, Dante is going to go. He's about to die. And then sure enough, yeah, he gets up from the theater, tells Becky, let's go. And then she tells him, wait, don't you want to know how the movie ends? And then he just says, he trusts the director, and they both take off. And I feel like it was a really good send off for Dante's character, because he always wanted that that happily ever after with Becky, and he never got it. It was taken away from him. So I feel like this chapter, this movie, this story, it definitely was not the conclusion I was expecting, but I feel it was the conclusion that Clerks as a franchise needed. I did feel it was a beautiful ending. So Dante does pass away. Randall now has to, figure out how to live without his best friend that we've seen these characters grow since '94. So for the first time, yeah, he's dealing with a serious loss. And then, of course, Elias is in the movie. And if you guys remember in Clerks 2, they do a quick little throwaway joke where, like, man, whenever Dante's gone, you're gonna be my best friend, So that's kind of where they're taking the story now. But they have said that apparently Clerks 3 is the final one, and obviously, now that I told you guys, for obvious reasons, because the Dante character has been retired. So yeah, that is essentially Clerks 3 in a nutshell. Don't know if I left anything out. That's pretty much the gist of it. I thought, as a movie, as entertaining, as far as entertainment value, I thought it was really good. I did enjoy it. I actually want to watch it again, so I can't wait. I am attending the Clerks 3 The Convenience Tour. They're doing a bunch of shows. If you guys want to go watch it, check the dates online. They're doing a bunch of those. So yeah, I already got my tickets. I just figured, I want to watch it early, so why not? But yeah. All right. As far as a rating, what I would rate this movie personally, I would say honestly, it would have been probably like a 10 out of 10 for me had Becky been alive, because as I said, for me personally, I really wanted to see where that chemistry and that storyline went, as far as like them having a kid and a family and all that. But I would give it like a solid 8.5 out of 10. That's the only thing that kind of took me out of the movie, like I said, for a little bit, but they more than made up for it with how much heart this film had, compared to the other two. And they did bring back, a bunch of the characters from the original Clerks, like even people that you wouldn't think they got. Like, they found these people that aren't even like actors anymore, like 30 years later, or whatever. It's freaking crazy. Like, yeah, they brought back everybody that they could from the original. So that was a huge plus. I was like, holy shit, okay, Kevin Smith did his homework. Like, tried getting everybody back, literally. So yeah. And then the chemistry between Dante Randall and Jay and Silent Bob is freaking great, as always. So that was top notch for me. And yeah, I would have to say, pretty much, if you guys, even though this review is spoiler, if you're watching this, I already like spoiled the damn movie for you. But if spoilers don't bother you, go watch it. Yeah, definitely go watch it for yourselves. Get your own opinion on it. I freaking loved it. I love these characters. I have loved these characters ever since I can remember. Ever since the first Kevin Smith movie I ever saw was Mallrats. So yeah, ever since then, like, I was hooked, So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this review, guys. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next video.